The movie opens in a chill city called Morio, with someone lighting candles for a 17th birthday, just as the cops roll up outside. But then, total chaos erupts inside. People are suddenly under attack by miniature soldiers, toy tanks, and tiny helicopters that are somehow firing actual missiles, leaving them completely trapped at gunpoint. Cops arrive at Yamashita's, get no answer at the door, so they call him, and wouldn't you know it, his phone's ringing inside the house. Yep, he's definitely home. So, we open on Katagiri bolting from a house, only to run smack into Naimura Kicho. Naimura casually arrows Katagiri, then, as he pulls it out, drops the bomb. Your chosen classic. Next thing you know, Katagiri's at the police station, getting grilled about a bunch of murders. But before the cops can get too comfy, water starts leaking from the ceiling and, boom, both officers are instantly dead. Okay, so we meet our lead, Koichi, just tidying his room. But then, the TV catches his eye. The news is buzzing about a rash of recent murders in the city. Cut to Koichi on his bike, telling us he only moved here 3 days ago. Problem is, the number of slayings seems to be skyrocketing. Not exactly a warm welcome, huh? Our main guy is totally stoked for his new school. Then suddenly, 2 rival bullies pop up demanding he stop his bike. What a welcome. So, these bullies are shaking down poor Koichi, even smashing his bike, when suddenly, our other main guy, Josuke, shows up. Naturally, these geniuses immediately make fun of his hair. Big mistake. Yosuke does not play about his hair, and next thing you know, he's absolutely demolishing them. The craziest part, he doesn't even lay a finger on them. Suddenly, everything snaps back to normal, sending the bullies running for their lives. Koichi, completely blown away by Josuke's power, introduces himself. He then checks on his mangled bike, telling Josuke they actually go to the same school. A detail Josuke seems totally oblivious to as he just walks off. But when Koichi glances back at his bike, poof, it's magically good as new. Koichi hits Buguako High and, surprise, Josuke's in his class gawking when suddenly Yamagishi Yukiko pops up, casually handing him her homework notebook. Talk about a diversion. Koichi's grateful, but Yukiko admits her real motive if he fails. She's totally screwed. He then cracks open the study guide she gave him, only to find a truly insane amount of homework piled up, all due by the end of the day. Yikes. So Koichi's just trying to do his homework when suddenly Yukiko slides up and starts creepily staring. Meanwhile, we cut to Officer Messiah, who's totally baffled because 2 kids actually put their trash in the bin. Messiah hops off his bike, demanding a clean. The boys quickly comply, promising no more trouble. But guess who shows up at the park later? Yep, those same 2 troublemakers, immediately drawn to the water fountain for some mischief. So, Katagiri's hunting his next target when, boom, a water stand attacks, instantly wiping out some poor kid. Meanwhile, Josuke aka JoJo gets swarmed by 3 girls totally obsessed with his hair, begging him to walk them home. Koichi and Yukiko catch it all. Confused, Koichi asks Yukiko why Josuke's called JoJo, and she drops the bombshell, Suke can also be written as Joe. So Messiah and his crew finally roll up to the park. Just then, Koichi, on his walk home, catches sight of pure mayhem. People are straight up bolting, utter chaos everywhere. We then spot this other kid, Hirata, physically grabbing a girl, Hez wielding a knife, making it clear he'll strike anyone who dares get close. Hirata roasts Josuke's hair, sending him into such a rage he stabs himself. Suddenly, a little creature pops out of dead Hirata's rear end, and Katagiri, beyond annoyed, vows to kill it for totally getting in his way. Messiah finds Hirata's body, while Josuke's getting an earful back home. He meddled and could have harmed the woman, so he's seriously warned to stay out of these matters. Looks like something big went down in the city. That's how we meet Messiah, the police officer who's also Josuke's granddad. Messiah checks out the drawing on his wall, totally baffled about what's even happening in the city right now. That night, some dude is literally throwing all his stuff off a balcony when Naimura Kicho shows up, casually puts an arrow in him, and then demands to know why he was humiliated. He finally explains his rage, admitting has been hating the wrong guy all along. Koichi then bikes towards school but totally crashes, blindsided by a mysterious guy in a white coat just chilling in the road. So, this dude apologizes, then asks Koichi if he goes to Bugagak High School. Koichi's like, yep, and then the guy's all, great, I actually need to talk to Josuke. So, Koichi and some new dude find Josuke mobbed by 3 girls, and yep, this guy is Jotaro Kujo. He reveals Josuke's mom is Tomoko, his dad was Joseph Josuke, and then tells him to forgive the guy. Jotaro drops a confusing family bomb, turns out he's Josuke's nephew. Yeah, Jotaro is older, making it super weird. Josuke tries to blow him off, wanting nothing to do with it, but Jotaro's not about to let him walk away that easily. Jotaro tries explaining evil spirits and stands, but Josuke is totally unimpressed and quickly tunes him out, showing zero interest in anything. Josuke's ambushed by 3 girls and Koichi. They immediately start obsessing over his hair, which, naturally, just sends him. Yosuke and Jotaro have a chaotic fight, their stands clashing intensely for a bit until Yosuke abruptly walks away. Later, Josuke grabs dinner with Katagiri, who makes a chilling threat anyone interfering with his work will be killed, no questions asked. So, Josuke was totally clued in on why these murders kept popping up, and he just decided to stay out of it. When Katagiri shows up, Josuke gives him a stern warning, "Don't you dare mess with me, or you'll seriously regret it." Katagiri, surprisingly cooperative, agrees, noting he wouldn't go against the person who helped them out. Katagiri throws out a threat to Josuke, only to immediately backtrack when he sees Josuke's terrifying fury. Josuke wants to know Katagiri's first murder, and Katagiri's like, "Oh, your dad, he interfered." Cut to Josuke, Masaya, and Tomoko somehow having a chill family dinner right after that bombshell. Masaya's all stressed about protecting the city, so they have a chill group chat until he conks out. Later, with just Josuke and Tomoko left, he awkwardly tries to convince his mom to consider getting remarried. Her response: a hard nope, absolutely zero interest. The next day, Koichi's heading to school when Yukako pops up demanding his homework. After he shows it, she tries getting him to notice something new about her, but he bombs every guess until he finally gets it right. Right then, some unseen force suddenly yanks Koichi's bike backward, sending him flying. Seeing a bizarre, double-haired dude, he's totally freaked, but Yukako swoops in to help him up. Meanwhile, Jotaro's already piecing together the true identity of Katagiri Jura, or as he's better known, Angelo. This dude's offed 7 people, dodged death row 6 times, and escaped every single one. Wild. But then he realizes every murder happened near water. Jotaro quickly calls his grandpa to clue him in on the city's bizarre situation. Okay, so he's definitely a warrior, but as he looks up, the clouds are getting darker, basically yelling that something terrible is about to pop off. He keeps calling Josuke, but gets nothing. Meanwhile, Katagiri's posted up outside Josuke's place, waiting for the rain to stop and swearing to murder Masaya's whole family. Tomoko asks Yosuke to dinner, but he passes. While she drinks, Yosuke spies a stand hiding in her water. Bam! Josuke's own stand swoops in, capturing the stand user right into a bottle. Tomoko bails, with a quick reminder to fill the bath. Later, he finally calls Jotaro. So, Yosuke totally snagged the water stand, and Jotaro's all keep an eye on that bottle as he pieces out. But naturally, Josuke immediately gets sucked into gaming and completely forgets about his new liquid pet. Meanwhile, Masaya's looking for his wine. He grabs that special bottle with the captured water, takes a drink in his room, and it instantly transforms into his favorite vino. Josuke finally realizes Masaya had the bottle, but by then it's already lights out for Masaya thanks to that water stand. When Josuke and Jotaro rush to check on him, they just find his dead body. Yosuke tries to heal him, but Jotaro has to deliver the crushing news his power can't revive anyone. So, as Josuke mourns his grandfather's death, Jotaro gives him space, heading downstairs to let him process the grief alone. He hits the downstairs and immediately spots the living room and kitchen are totally drenched. Classic. That means a water stand is definitely in the house, just waiting to jump Josuke and Jotaro. Then, boom, Josuke walks right in. The water stand attacks, but Jotaro hits the brakes, freezing time. When it snaps back, a totally bewildered Josuke scarfs down the pink glove, assuming it was the actual threat about to get him. Suddenly, his premonition comes true as water floods his body. He's then trapped by the Odin glove pieces, which instantly reform around him. With Katagiri's stand in hand, Josuke dishes out a beating, then wastes no time heading to confront him. Yosuke asks Katagiri how he got his powers, and Katagiri spills the beans about Akicho and his arrows. Yosuke promises hell be fine, then turns him into a rock and pieces out with Katagiri's stand. Naimura drops the bombshell Katagiri got clobbered by his own little brother Okuyasu. Then Kicho admits he has no clue what Josuke's stand is, cause he totally didn't make him a stand user. Josuke's in his grandpa's room, still mourning, when Tomoko walks in with the gentle reminder time for the funeral. Alright, she spills the tea on Masaya. This guy's super loyal to keeping the city safe. Then, she whips out Josuke's broken watch. He got it for 20 years of service, but he smashed it himself. Why he botched a major murder case. After that huge failure, he literally just gave up on promotions. Josuke's at the funeral when he spots Kicho and decides to follow. Right as he hits the front gate, Koichi shows up, wanting to know what the heck happened with his sudden vanishing act. Koichi heads inside, Josuke hot on his heels, barraging him with questions. Then, out of nowhere, Okuyasu pops up, immediately calling Koichi a thief. Yikes. Koichi gets an arrow and starts bleeding. Then Okuyasu and Josuke immediately throw down. So Okuyasu accidentally spills the beans about the hand, which gets him knocked out cold by a statue. Yosuke, ever the detective, follows the blood trail right into the house to find Koichi. Josuke finally tracks down Koichi, but then bam, Kicho pops up. Kicho explains this arrow is super rare, the only one he has, and he needs to get it back. But Josuke's like, absolutely not. Kicho does it anyway. Meanwhile, Okuyasu dives in to save Josuke from his brother, but winds up taking the attack himself. Yosuke begs Kicho not to off his bro, but Kicho's like, nah, he's totally useless and dumb. Hiding behind a door, Yosuke swoops in to save Okuyasu, but takes a hit himself. So Josuke pulls Okuyasu aside, trying to get details on his brother's powers. But Okuyasu, being fiercely loyal, stays completely silent. Surprisingly, Josuke still heals him up, which obviously throws Okuyasu off. When asked why, Josuke just casually says, Okuyasu doesn't deserve to die like that. Yosuke drops the bad news he can't heal himself or bring anyone back from the dead. Still, he's got to get Koichi. Okuyasu then jumps in, telling him he owes him nothing and has an idiot for just doing whatever feels right. Gotta love that logic. An armed squad surrounds them, but Josuke's like, nope, quickly taking them out while keeping Koichi safe. So Koichi's chatting with Josuke, warns him about these weird tanks, and Josuke's like, whoa, I see them too. Then Kicho pops up, demands Koichi show his stand. Koichi's totally clueless. Then out of nowhere, an egg just kinda sprouts from his back. Wild. So, Josuke drops the ultimate ultimatum, protect this egg, or you're dead. Kicho, naturally, unleashes his entire army on Josuke, who, yet again, completely wipes the floor with them. Koichi tries to intervene, but Kicho's stubborn, claiming it's reversible. Just as Josuke finishes off the last guy, he totally crashes, knocked out cold. Koichi tries to shut it down, but then the eggs burst open, unleashing this tiny monster stand that immediately faceplants. This just infuriates Kicho even more, cause he definitely didn't want that. Meanwhile, Josuke's already got 2 missiles locked and loaded on Kicho. Kicho orders his army, and suddenly, guns are pointed right at Josuke. Then, just as things look grim, missiles explode, and Josuke and Koichi breathe a massive sigh of relief. A noise upstairs. Josuke checks it out, but gets seriously wounded. Then Koichi cautiously steps in, only to get jumped by a terrifying monster that totally freaks him out. Josuke steps in and sees a chained-up monster, Kicho right behind it, bow in hand. Josuke and Koichi are totally confused by the creature, but Kicho cuts them off with a huge reveal that's not a monster, it's their dad. Forget bad, this dude was a greedy monster who even abused his own kids. Kicho drops a massive bombshell. His dad's immortal but desperately wants to die. But Kicho, he straight up tells Josuke and Koichi he wants his father dead so he can finally live his own life. Josuke suggests getting him treatment, but Kicho's having absolutely none of it, just wanting his weirdly undying dad out of the picture for good. Meanwhile, Kicho's dad just finds something. Kicho's like, nah, he just picks up trash, and then proceeds to totally wail on his own dad, but Josuke's not buying it. That whole situation feels super sus to him, so he immediately grabs the box and everything inside. Then, boom, they all see his dad clutching a family photo, proving he totally remembers him. Josuke's ready to help the old man, but first, that creepy bow and arrow has to go down for good. Okuyasu's been eavesdropping. He tries to get his brother to just chill, ditch the drama, and actually be happy with their dad. Kicho, of course, is totally not having it. Suddenly, a tiny car-shaped monster crashes right through the window, going after Okuyasu. Kicho jumps in and totally saves his brother's life. Then, Okuyasu finds Josuke and Koichi to recap the whole wild scene. Turns out the creepy car monster's after Kicho because of his past. But even though Kicho, seriously hates his brother Okuyasu for being a total idiot, he still steps up and saves him. Next, Josuke and Jotaro catch up, getting into the heavy stuff. Jotaro asks about his future, and Josuke's like, gonna keep my grandpa's legacy alive, protecting the city and its people, even though Gramps never got promoted after, not solving a single murder. Rambling about his grandpa, he even shows Jotaro the old man's watch as rocking. Next morning, Koichi bikes to school, passing Yukiko, who gives him a super evil smirk. Then he finally meets up with Okuyasu and Josuke, so he spills the tea about how this was the day he met his two besties. And as they stroll past where Katagiri got turned to stone, they literally wave hello to the dude, still a rock. After all that wildness, Morio finally returns to being its peaceful, chill self. Everything's back to normal. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're first to catch the next one.